What's going on? What's going on?
Good to see you, mate. Long time.
I know it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. The people been waiting for me and you to get back together.
Good.
How you doing though?
I'm doing really good. I mean, last week couldn't have gone better, you know, from an entertainment point of view. And I really feel like we've got another brilliant fight this week. Conor Ben Algieri next week, Katie Taylor, Parker Chisora. You know, it's an amazing end to the year.
Now you got a lot of big fights that you can make definitely for the Zone. The Zone has been making a lot of noise. MATCHROOM's been in a lot. You know, you got a lot going on. But Devin Haney, this upcoming Saturday, and you had a big fight last week.
Yeah.
And we was anticipating Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, not to look past their respective upcoming opponents. But we was looking forward to that. What did you make of what took place last Saturday?
Just amazing. You know, one of the best fights I've seen live. I mean, you got to give so much credit to George Kambosos because Teofimo's a beast. You know, he came out in that first round, tried to take his head off. Kambosos held his feet, knocked him down. I thought he boxed brilliantly, and I thought in the 10th round the fight was over. I thought Teofimo was about to stop him. You know, came back. George Kambosos won 11 and 12. What a performance! What a guy! Just brilliant for boxing. You know, brilliant for the division. And I think you're going to get another classic fight this weekend. You know, Devin Haney is in the form of his life. Jojo Diaz is so up for it, trying to become a 3-weight world champion. And this is what we need, you know. And look, I don't want to look past Jojo Diaz, but George Kambosos against Devin Haney, you know, that's the fight. That's the fight to find out the true undisputed champion. And if Devin can do the business this weekend, that's a fight we'd love to make.
Now, what do you make of just these last couple of days, Lou DiBella? He's been doing some interviews.
Yeah.
And he stated today, most recently, yesterday he said he wanted to fight Gervonta Tank Davis for Kambosos. Then he's looking at Richard Commey, Vasyl Lomachenko as a possible option. And then today he said that Devin Haney essentially is an email champion. So what do you make of that?
I think at the end of the day, you know, it's going to be down to George Kambosos who he fights next. We've got a good relationship with Lou. I'm sure Lou will look at all options for George Kambosos, but I feel that, you know, this is the natural fight to make because there'll always be the question mark about undisputed. The other governing bodies don't recognise the franchise champion as a world champion that can unify and be undisputed. I've always said Teofimo should have been undisputed, but the reality is, the fact is, he wasn't. So, but look, this is a question for Sunday because this is such a tough fight on Saturday. Let's see it unfold. But if he's victorious, hopefully Lou DiBella, George Kambosos and their team can move forward with the Devin Haney fight.
Now, what do you make of the WBC and the franchise belt? Because yesterday they came out and they announced that George Kambosos is the undisputed champion, but obviously we have Devin Haney, who's the WBC.
He can't be the undisputed champion because the other governing bodies do not recognise the franchise championship as a belt that you can unify with or be undisputed with. So it doesn't matter that for someone to be undisputed, they need to be recognised by all governing bodies as an undisputed champion, not the WBC. So, and you can't call him the undisputed champion when you've got Devin Haney as a WBC world champion. So the whole thing's ridiculous, but it is what it is. You know, let's just see the great fights. The belts, I'll never say belts don't matter because belts do matter, especially to fighters. But let's just make great fights. Last week we saw a fight that was so good for boxing. And this week you're going to see another one. So let's enjoy it while we always crave these big fights, and we're seeing them now.
George Kambosos Jr., he said he's going to be ringside and he wants this fight to take place in Australia. What's your thoughts on that?
I think he's well within his rights. Listen, I think Australia is somewhere that, you know, we're focusing very hard on in 2022. I don't think Devin Haney has a problem going to Australia at all. Can do it in Vegas, can do it in Sydney, can do it wherever. You know, wherever that fight's going to generate the most money. And on paper, George Kambosos is the man right now. You know, he's the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy.
Right.
And Devin Haney is on a great run, Linares and Jojo Diaz. Let's see him come through Jojo Diaz, and then we can go from there.
Two more questions for you. Demetrius Andrade, I saw you guys, he said that you guys wanted to push for Jamal Charlo fight with the WBC and the WBO. And then we get the WBO
straight away. Says it all, really. That says it all, really. You know, we got to look at the future for Demetrius Andrade. Maybe there's a move to 168, you know, and become mandatory up there. But I don't see the value in him fighting that mandatory challenger. It's another fight that everyone's going to moan about. So we've got to see what we can do. We've got to manoeuvre. We've got to, you know, make sure we create the best opportunity for him. He's a hell of a fighter, and we need to get what he deserves.
Last question. Anthony Joshua, he stated that he would possibly take step aside money. Is he serious about actually doing
He
that?
didn't really say that. He said, look, you know, it's a business at the end of the day, and if the right opportunity presented itself, would he consider it? And the answer is yes, but that opportunity will come through me. If I feel that there's an opportunity to present to Anthony and 258 and the team, we'll do that, and he will make the final decision. He wants to fight Alexander Usyk. That's the only thing that's in his head right now, is to become a 3-time world champion. But maybe a trainer change, you know, maybe something else. If there was a way to maybe make sure that he fought the winner of that fight and, you know, got a shot undisputed, maybe. We don't rule it out. But until that opportunity presents itself, we won't go to him, because I don't want to take an opportunity to him, because he's not going to be happy when I do, because all he's focused on is Alexander Usyk.
What's going on with the WBC with Tyson Fury and
Dillian Whyte? You know, we're waiting for that arbitration to rule that he's mandatory and that's ordered. You know, he needs a fair split. It's a great fight, and hopefully, you know, the right decision will come.
Well, yeah, I saw something that said that they was going to order Tyson Fury and give him 30 days. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, he's mandatory. You know, Dillian Whyte is mandatory now. It's just when that fight gets called. And, you know, he's going to get called very shortly, and then hopefully that fight gets made.
I appreciate you, Eddie.
Good to see you, mate.
Thank you.